You don't have to have a huge download numbers to make big money, but there is a secret of what you should be selling if you have low downloads to make those big impacts, that big income. And trust me, from just my own experience and working with other people's podcasts who are making well over 6 figures, this strategy works. Welcome to the podcast about podcasting, where you guessed it, we're talking all things podcasting, but not just in the sense of strategy of how to launch, grow, and monetize your show. Of course, you're going to get that, but we're going deep into how podcasting can actually help you build your community, build your confidence, and if you're willing to lean deep into this platform, it can be the ticket to the life of your dreams, because it'll inspire you to go deeper, to get to know yourself. And as we know, success starts from within. If you are ready to stop being a ripple in this world and bust out your tsunami of change you know you were made for, it's podcasting for your soul. I'm your host, Jen Dragonette, so let's dig in. So, a lot of us believe that we have to have huge downloads to make money from our show. And we oftentimes forget about the true magic of selling our own things, selling our own products, selling our own services, coaching, courses, those kind of things. The fastest way to monetize your show with a small audience is to, I just told you, coaching, courses, and your own products. Not affiliates, not sponsors, not all of those things, unless you come in with a big enough audience where someone's like, yeah, if you start your show, you only have 10 downloads, I'm still going to pay you a massive amount. The best way to profit is to sell coaching and courses, number one, and then products. There's a little bit more strategy behind selling products, but coaching and courses is something that you can sell off the bat. And I just had a couple months ago, we launched somebody who has a very small Facebook audience. They launched their show and they started selling their membership by the third episode. She was getting maybe 5 to 7 downloads per episode at that point, because that was, I tell people to launch with 3. So that was her first day. Her first day, she got found. We positioned it correctly. We hyped it up. Someone found her through there that she didn't know, and she sold a space in her membership out the gate. This is possible. I know that Ina, I forget her last name. If I can figure it out, I will put it in the show notes. But she talks about the power of the tiny audience. And I absolutely love her. She's absolutely right. There is so much power in a tiny audience. But we, as consumers and as marketing strategists and entrepreneurs, we see all these numbers that come up and all the stuff that's in our face. And I have to tell you that I've been talking to a lot of different people that have big audiences. I just had a person on that had a 400,000 follower Instagram account, and she admitted that she was struggling just to make ends meet. She wasn't making nearly what I'm able to make from my little show with my little following. And there's a strategy here, is that a lot of people, we focus on building that following. We focus on the wrong numbers. We need thousands of downloads an episode. We need thousands and thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of followers to make money. And what we truly need is to look at what that follower means. Each person that's a listener is a person. Each person that is a follower is a person. Yeah, there's bots out there, but we're not talking about those. What if you were in a room? So let's say you have 15 downloads per episode. Yeah, we're even talking really small. But those people that have come to your podcast have come to learn, be inspired, or educated, right? Podcast listeners are a little bit different than social media consumers. We don't normally go to social media to learn something. We go to connect, to be social, to create relationships. That's a deeper way to go and create a relationship, is on social media. But for podcast listeners, we're going to be entertained, educated, or inspired. And we're willing to spend time to listen to something that makes sense to us. We're also, because we're not being distracted by a visual that is on a screen. Yeah, we might be taking a shower, washing the dishes, going for a walk, but we are just listening to audio as we're doing something and moving our body. And hey, have you heard of EMDR or EFT tapping? That's how we reprogram our mind, right? As an EFT practitioner, we tap on different places and how that, as we're saying something and as we're listening to something. And what that does is it changes the way that your brain is able to consume the content. So the power of just audio only it's uncomparable to anything else. So you don't need a big audience. For me, yeah, one of my shows gets 2,000 downloads an episode. This one doesn't yet, but this one is converting, whereas my other show is not. The difference is there's a strategy behind this show. This show is very specific. There's a very specific niche that I'm talking to. The more micro niche you can go, the smaller audience that you have to have where you can start monetizing, period, end of story. And it's not all about money for me because I truly want people to have podcasts. I want people to find their voice. Podcasting really, to me, is a healing modality because it's a place that you can share unrestricted. And if you're willing to get out of your way and out of your ego and let go of those statistics, so those download numbers, you truly can make a difference in the world with a small audience. So this one gets about 200 downloads an episode. So there are 200 of you beautiful humans, you beautiful souls out there that are listening to the show. And I'm so grateful for you. If I got into a room with 200 people and stood on a stage, I may have a heart attack. That's a lot of people that are listening. Even a room of 50, that's a lot of people that are listening. So it's so important to start thinking about your strategy. So as a bonus, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a highlight of a strategy that you can use, which I call working with the flow, FLO, the free, low, and your offer. What you do and what you want to think about is like your legacy. What is your legacy offer? So that high ticket, whatever offer it is. Whatever your highest ticket is. And I want you to build it backwards. So you have your main offer, your low ticket offer should be a little micro, like a baby step of that offer. And that is your gateway. I'm going to call it your gateway product because people, once they're willing to pay you again. And then your free offer is your podcast. It can be that simple. Or you could do something like a freebie so that you can get people on the email list and nurture because we do want a better way to connect. For me, my funnel looks like my podcast. And then my next level is either my email list, my free, I do them a couple times a year. I do a boot camp or my Facebook community. Those are my 3 places. I share this one to Pinterest. And then from those few places, I make sales. I get people onto podcast audits. You see me offering them all the time. It's not just a sales call. It's a way that you've already gotten to know me. So my free audits, you do get so much value because I go through and I actually give you a free 30-minute coaching session. Whether you choose to work with me after, that's up to you. I'm not going to beg you for the sale. I'm not going to turn that 30 minutes into here's a sales call strategy, blah, 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 blah. I want to actually serve you for 30 minutes. And if you like that 30 minutes and you want more, come work with me. And for those of you that don't, then great. So for me, there's that piece of let's make it as simple as possible. We overcomplicate this. We overcomplicate it and our ego needs that stroke of, I need more downloads. I need more followers. But those things don't matter if you don't have a strategy that leads people through the journey. So as you come through the journey, I support you. I give you the micro steps on the podcast. Sometimes I give you the baby steps. And then in my first level of getting on a clarity call, I give you the baby steps for free. And not only do I give you the baby steps, I give you the baby steps for your specific business because it's one-on-one with me. And yes, you can still get a podcast CPR audit if you want. Go to podcastcpr.com And I'm more than happy to give you 30 minutes of my time for free. And if you want to work with me, you want to work with me. And let me tell you, I am not the person that's going to be a pushy salesperson because I hate that. And it literally is 30 minutes of your time. If you want to go further, you know where to find me because you are going to get value either way. That 30 minutes will help you move your podcast, move your business forward, period, end of story. podcasttpr.com. Like how I weaved that in. But that's what I'm talking about is you've got to come up with a strategy. So I probably should have started today. So I'll just share with you today. But in January, I am going to be doing another boot camp. So I'll be starting to talk about the pieces of the boot camp on this show. The CPR, and then we're going to do some other fun stuff also, which C is getting clear. P is your purpose and your people, and R is obviously your revenue. And we want to resuscitate your show. We want to resuscitate your business. We want to put life back into it. We want to put life back into you because maybe you've become a slave. So I'll start talking about, hey, I have a podcast CPR boot camp coming up January 9th. Get on the list right now and get extra goodies. And I start planning that. So I know what's coming up. I know what launch is coming up. And then you work backwards. Okay, what little pieces, what little breadcrumbs can I leave behind that will make an impact in somebody's life? Again, those micro steps, those baby tiny steps. What micro steps, baby steps can I leave on my show that'll get people to want to come and have a 4-day, 5-day experience with me in my boot camp? And then from there, we just build a relationship. I serve. You come to serve. You don't come to just make money. We all know we're in business to make money. You know that you're here listening to somebody who has a business who wants to make money. Period. End of story. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around that. But if you really show up to serve, like I'm showing up to serve, there's a lot of you listening to this show that are never, ever, ever, ever going to buy and never going to be one of my clients. But I know that this show can support you. Can make you look at podcasting a little bit different. Look at it as a healing modality. Look at it as your entire sales funnel if you want to. I have one client that literally, she comes on to her podcast, and from her podcast, she offers a free healing session or something like that. I'm not 100% sure what that call is, but it's a 30-minute call, kind of like my audits. And then from there, she either sells or doesn't sell. She does the free healing. She helps the person. And then she says, if you want to go further, here's the thing. And that's literally all she's using. And I think this year she's hitting 75K. 75K. And she's literally using a podcast to a Zoom call with people to a sale. That's all she's using. She doesn't have an email list. She doesn't have anything fancy. Obviously, she's got PayPal links and things like that, and some place that she's hosting her course or her mastermind. But that's it. It doesn't have to be hard. And you know what? She made that much money and she's got maybe 75 downloads an episode. Yeah, that's it. It doesn't have to be hard. You don't need big numbers. You just need the right strategy. So I am going to say right now that if you are ready to launch your podcast or you need a deep dive intensive, I still do have my holiday sale for both. The holiday sale is 50% off of the launch program, 50% off my one-on-one 1-month intensive where we really go into the CPR of your podcast, of your business. Those are both still 50% off. There's a holiday special down in the show notes. And if you're not ready for any of those kind of things, but you want to hang out with us and you want to do that 5 days together, the podcast CPR bootcamp will be coming up January 9th. So the information for all those things will be in the show notes, but it can be that easy. I want you to know that this can be easy. It can be easy to make money. It can be easy to do whatever with your show. You just have to have a strategy and you have to be there to serve. You can't just, if you're so in the weeds of I can't make money, I need this, and you're in that scarcity mode, you're going to get that back. So anyways, if you have any questions, you know where to find me. If you want to grab one of the CPR audits, come hang out in the group, grab one of the holiday specials. Yes, this is not something you should do on your show. You should never have more than one offer, ever. on your show. It confuses people, so hopefully you're not too confused. But I know you're not, because you kind of see where I wanted to share these things with you, because I wanted you to see how I could work backwards, and I want you to work backwards too. So go out, make today amazing, because you are beautiful, you are wonderful, you are worthy, and let's get your voice out into the world so that you can get paid to be you. Go do the things.